And I guess this just symbolizes that the international community really is here to send this man off.
Absolutely. I think the Secretary General couldn't miss this. He is very much moved by the life and the times of Madiba. And of course, he's here with a small delegation, but important delegation from the United Nations. And he's going to carry these emotions with him back to New York to share with the staff and the team and the member states. We
here at home regard him as ours. We say Tata, and but it's at times like this we actually realize just how huge and how much he belongs to the planet, the whole earth, not just South Africa. And that's partly a responsibility as well that we carry.
Yes, absolutely. Just the number of messages that I received this week from all over the world of people who were talking about how touched they were. I saw people, as you know, in working in the UN, you meet people from all over the world. I saw people who could just, we were just so emotional about the passing away of Tata, who talk about how he had touched their lives. Children of colleagues, one child, for instance, said to her parents, I know, seeing Tata on TV, I know this man. He wanted all the good things to happen to all the children of the world. That summarizes who Madiba is. Even children could actually interpret the life and story of Madiba. And that is a child who lives in New York and is from Belgium, but actually understands what Madiba was about. I received a note from a woman from Burundi who said to me, I will never forget how he actually stood up and called for the women of Burundi to be included in the peace process that led to the resolution of the conflicts there. Already at that time, he was ahead of his time because he was one of those leaders who was calling for women to be part and parcel of peacemaking. I had a woman from Brazil sending me a message and saying that we are so distraught about what has happened, not just to your leader, but to our leader too. You know, everywhere you turn, people have got something to say. People were just wanting to identify and to let the South Africans know that Tata belongs to them too.
All right, I'm going to get your final thoughts in a few moments, but in the meantime, Durban is already starting to wake up and get with this particular story. There'll be fan parks, if I can use that word, or viewing parks across Durban as well. And Blaine has been keeping us abreast of developments there. Blaine, good morning.
You're back live from the Chatsworth Youth Centre right here south of Durban. We hear this was one of the visions of Nelson Mandela. And to many people here in Chatsworth, many see him as, the moral centre of post-apartheid South Africa. I've even heard people describe him as the symbol of the country on legs. You know, very few people have meant so much to so many people. Now, in order to honour them, shrines like this, memorials like this, we have candles, flowers. Those are the things that people are doing in order to respect his name, in order to respect his legacy. Also, around the country, as I can expect around the world, memorial services will be held. And to tell us more about this, what's happening in the province, Sisile Zikalala is from the ANC. He's the provincial secretary, as well as Kiru Naidu from the Chatsworth Memorial Organising Committee joins us now live. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. We are in 10 days of mourning. There's memorial services all over the place. Sisile, if I can just maybe start with you. What's KwaZulu-Natal planning for this week?
Well, we join the world in celebrating and commemorating the life of former President Madiba. This week we'll have a memorial service which is going to take place on Friday. It will be a provincial memorial service which will be in Moses Mabhida Stadium, where all people of the province will gather to pay tribute to the outstanding contributions made by former President Mandela. But that's not the only thing we will have. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, And as well as Thursday, we'll have a number of regional memorial services where ANC structures will commemorate the life and struggle of former President Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, indeed. Regional structures, memorial services. Kira, you guys are also having your own memorial service. A special time for the people, especially of Chatsworth, to honour former President Nelson Mandela.
A very special time for a very special man who was very special in this community. And we've planned on Saturday at 2 o'clock at this Chatsworth Youth Centre a special Madiba memorial event. So at 2 o'clock, the Chatsworth community will descend on this centre.
Kira, just tell us a bit about the links between Chatsworth and Nelson Mandela.
Well, remarkable in every way. He visited this township no fewer than 8 times, meeting sporting, cultural, political leaders, meeting children all of the time. And also this community has a very powerful history. No fewer than 6 of our people from here served time on Robben Island of various lengths of sentences, and several of them also at the time that Madiba was also imprisoned there.
Phumzile Mlambo KZN holds obviously a special part. He cast his first vote here. He made a number of rousing speeches in KwaZulu-Natal, and also he was arrested in KwaZulu-Natal. But it holds a very special place in Madiba, well, held a very special place in Madiba's heart. In terms of the province, what sort of reaction have you seen throughout the province with regards to Nelson Mandela's passing?
Many people, the reaction we've seen is that many people have committed themselves to fulfill the vision of former President Madiba. They've been eager, emphatic on issues of peace. Madiba played a great role in ensuring that peace prevails in KwaZulu-Natal. During the 1990s, the whole of the province was engulfed by violence, and Madiba led in ensuring that there is peace between the ANC and IFP. And I believe this is a commitment that many people of KwaZulu-Natal are making to sustain peace. But more than that, Madiba is a symbol of integration. He's a symbol of reconciliation. He is a symbol of non-racialism. And that's what we've seen in many places of KwaZulu-Natal, where people are coming together beyond racial groups to say we are South Africans, we're celebrating the life of Madiba. We must forge unity. We must go forward and sustain this vision which he stood for.
Very interesting enough, Phumzile, you mentioned peace, and I was very interested to note in terms of Mandela's train of thought, in terms of Gandhi, and how much of an influence was Gandhi to Nelson Mandela?
Well, a lot of the teachings on peace and non-violence are universal teachings, and he certainly borrowed a great deal from that. But he carved a niche as an African leader, as a leader very in tune with the pulse of this continent and this community. And there's been a buzz here all week. Committees meeting here, religious services, churches, temples, mosques and so on. And everywhere people have been saying, let's rededicate ourselves to the spirit of non-racialism, to the spirit of non-violence, and renew this whole idea that Madiba stood for a united nation, and we must be constantly mobilized to realize that vision of his.
Indeed, Kiru, it's going to be a busy week, Phumzile. We have the main memorial service happening in Johannesburg. Then the body will lie in state between the 11th and the 13th, and then the funeral. Now, these are going to be broadcast live. What plans are in place in terms of people here in KwaZulu-Natal to watch this? Is there any public viewing centres?
Yes, we've got a report from government that there is a public viewing areas which are established in almost all districts. There will be at least one public viewing area per district. We've also sent a number of buses as well as taxis to the National Memorial Service, which is today. And other members of the ANC will obviously stay for tomorrow and Thursday, where they will go for public viewing, going to Pretoria, where the president will be lying.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your time. Kira Naidu and Phumzile Mlambo joining us, telling us about the various memorial services that will be happening in KwaZulu-Natal in order to honour the great man that is Nelson Mandela. Keep it locked on to SABC News for all the latest coming from around the country. For now, it's back to Johannesburg.
Blaine, thank you very much indeed. As he was saying, we will be bringing you live coverage of that memorial service as a little bit later on, scheduled to start around 11. And you can watch that on television and listen to it as well on our various radio platforms. And we'll give you details of that. But just to remind you, it is raining, but umbrellas are not allowed. So please leave your umbrellas behind. Rather wear a hat or something, because it may be that it will continue raining much as it did on the day that he was inaugurated. So there's something about Madiba and the rain. But somebody who remembers him, who's worked with him, and has come back all the way from the US is the UN Under-Secretary General for Women, who's been talking to us, Ms. Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka. Just before we were talking about Madiba and the way he's touched many people, I'm just wondering now, at this time, we talked about the responsibility South Africa has handling this world icon. What do you think we can do to give him a proper legacy, or what we should be doing to honor his memory?
Well, Tata and his generation set a vision for us, not just for South Africa, but a vision for a better world. We are yet to achieve that. So we have a lot of work to do, notwithstanding how much we have already achieved. So they are part of our past, but also they are part of our future, because they've set the bar very high. So each one of us, in our private and personal lives, in our professional life, but also where we are leaders and public representatives, and especially as elected representatives, there is so much that we have to do in order to try to live up to that vision that they set for us. And because as South Africa, we have lived with an icon, something that's, you know, I don't know if there are countries that can claim to have someone like this, you know, to whom so much has been given, a lot is expected. So I think we have to look deep within us to see how we could make sure that everywhere we are as South Africans in our own country, when we interact with people of other countries, we can try in our small way to represent what Madiba wanted us as South Africans to be and wanted the country to be. And I think that we can do this. Really, we can do this. But we've got to put our minds into it and try hard. Tata also believed in women, which is why he gave many of us an opportunity to serve at various levels. I think also one of the legacy that we could give to Tata is to respect and as well as to support women. It is to fight and end, for instance, the violence against women, which is plaguing the world.
And I guess also, you know, this is somebody from a small little place in the Eastern Cape. What he did teach us is that we can rise to be great and to do amazing things in the world. And, you know, to see you and Sissy Geraldine Fraser Malaketi at the UN is testimony to the fact that much is possible, much in the way that Madiba taught us.
And Navi Pillay.
Yes, Navi Pillay as well.
I think South Africa must be one of the countries with two Under-Secretary Generals at the UN serving there at the same time. And both of us are serving in areas where the issue of human rights is very important, women's rights and human rights in general. I think that also shows that the world sees South Africa as a country that can contribute towards the protection of people's rights. And I think this is something that here at home is important for us to uphold and to practice, but also this is important for us to take to wherever we go and represent those values in the best possible way.
All right, and I think that's a great place to leave it. Thank you very much indeed for taking some time to share your thoughts with us and helping us remember this great man.
Thanks.
All right.